Hey, good morning everyone. I'm about to go live here. A couple of interesting things that have happened in terms of the news and what exactly the crypto space is going through right now. Let me just first put my link up everywhere to make sure people know that I'm going live. Okay. So this is the Cryptosomniac community. If you haven't sort of seen this, this is our Moon Lounge Discord channel. The link, the YouTube link, is below the description in the video, and you can share this. You can join this community by having this link. All right, and definitely come join, guys, because we do have a lot of information and a lot of that's my alarm. Let's see, a couple other groups now I'm part of. This one right here too. Let me not. Okay. Let me know if you guys can hear me fine, because I know a few days ago I had some mic issues. But once I get this word spread out, we'll get started on the technicals of what's happening in price action, and definitely want to hear your guys' thoughts too. I think that's about it. Okay, I'm gonna share it. If you're also on Facebook, guys, come join this Cryptosomniac group. We love to discuss, points of news. I share a lot of my analysis here. We sometimes provide discounts in this community right here if you're a part of it, so definitely come join. And let me know what other what other crypto groups that you're a part of. I'd be really curious to know that you find valuable, why you joined them, and what you learned from them. Okay, so with that being said, let's first go to our morning analysis. All right, so first things first, right? What we need to do is look at BTC and what it's done over the past 24 hours or so. All right, yesterday I mentioned that we were hitting this critical resistance level for a couple periods right here. First top right there, second, multiple times we touched this area, right? This is a 2-hour time frame. Okay, so we basically spent close to 24 to 36 hours right here. All right, being held down by this resistance zone right around 78.50. And finally, yesterday afternoon, at least in the US time zones, we broke through it. Okay, we basically tested it as support, and now we're trying to break through the next area of resistance right here around 8,030 and try to drive up prices. Okay, so price is currently at 79.46. Nothing really special between where the prices currently are, which is right near resistance, and closing above the previous support on multiple hourly time frames. I would say this is a positive sign, as price is now sort of moving up in levels, right? Stair stepping all the way up, each and every time. This is exactly what you want to see in price action anyway, because when prices sort of just shoot up like this, like a moonshot, it's really hard to contain that kind of move. But this is far more consistent and containable like this, because what you're doing is when you move up, you come back, move sideways, test this area of support, and then move up again. Move up, hit a resistance, sort of break through it, come back down, test it as support, and then move up again. What testing previous resistance as support does is it in fact ensures you as a buyer that this level right here is not just a glass floor that once broken is not just going to fall right through. Okay, so as a bull, it assures you that these bulls right here stepped up to the plate and defended their position. Okay, this is why when you do buy the retests of previous resistance like this, and turn into support like that, This is far more of a better buy opportunity than simply, you know, buying in a FOMO moonshot candle. Oftentimes these moonshot candles do come down back to earth and test that previous, you know, resistance as support, and then they'll bounce up even higher again. Okay, but most people don't realize that because they don't pay attention to technicals, and they don't understand how it's not just about resistance turns support or vice versa. It's about understanding what happens behind the scenes when that happens. Okay, it's ensuring that the buyers in this area now feel comfortable defending this position and buying in this region than, you know, letting the price collapse. Okay, so you have to understand, you know, that the economics behind why certain buyers will stay at a certain position to be able to hold down the fort on that floor. Okay. Let me see who all joined this video so far. Let's see. Got a bunch of people watching right now. What's going on, folks? But yeah, anyway, so the point is that, you know, we've broken through this area. We're looking fairly positive, at least on the smaller time frame. This is the guppy moving averages. These are the small moving averages that you can turn on every time frame. See, like, they can look sort of like this. On the daily chart, the guppy moving averages are still fairly positive because they're all trending up and they're all, you know, blue or green, right? When you start looking at the hourly, you can see that previously it was red. Over here on the 4 hour, it is still red, and you can see BTC struggling to get through the higher moving averages. I think the top one is the 60 moving average. Yeah, say 60 right there. Okay, it currently resides around 8,081. Okay, once we sort of start getting up above these, then these moving averages will start trending up like this as price, you know, sort of moves beyond these levels. But for now, you know, getting through these is going to be a little bit tough. Okay, so those are also levels that you can look for specifically. All right, so let me go back to this area right here first. Okay, so previously when we were trending in, let me turn off these moving averages. Well, previously when we were trending in this big trading range, once we fell through, now we have to make that steady and slow climb back up. Okay, now this area that was support, just like I stated earlier, right? This area that was resistance, it has now turned support. Now this area that was support will now be resistance on the way up. Okay, why does that happen? All right, when the prices hit this level, okay, a lot of people buy in this region, right? And prices go up and they think, okay, well, they're going to go higher and higher. And then eventually prices dump down in this position. Either these same buyers doubled down right here, or they just held on to their position thinking that, oh, it'll recover. But really what happens is price went down. Okay, so these same people, right, they have now been underwater for, it's been what, 8 days, right? So this was May 30th, May 31st. So 8 days of being underwater on their position, right? If you buy here and defended this area. But now that it broke through, these same people are the ones that are going to want to break even right around this range right here. Okay, so this is why support turns resistance and resistance turns support. Okay, you have to understand why exactly it happens, not just, you know, flipping it support versus resistance and vice versa, right? Okay, so the point is that this area is going to be resistance, and I had stated a very explanatory chart explaining how it does that and what level it's going to meet it at. Let me see where that is actually. I think it's over here somewhere. No. There it is. Okay, so when we look at the 6 hour time frame, right, I had stated when price came down here. Okay, I stated that we're going to more than likely go to this top right there and hit resistance. Okay, and you can see that's exactly what's happening. Let me go back to that chart that we just had. Okay, you can see that this area right here, the 8200s, okay, which matches up with these levels right here. that lines up perfectly with the way this sort of horizontal stretches across. Not only that, this descending parallel channel that you're seeing, see that there's a touch right there, 2 touches, 3 touches, and 4 touches, okay? These 4 touches have validated this descending parallel channel, okay? You now see that price touched the bottom of this channel and then now is moving away up towards the resistance of the channel, which also happens to match up with this big sideways resistance level, okay? These are the resistance points, right? 1, 2, 3, and then previous support now turned resistance. So there's a confluence of 2 factors, the descending parallel channel as well as the overhead resistance of this area right here that was previously support and now resistance. Okay, so one would say that it would be wise to sell your position off here because you're basically selling into resistance, and that's exactly what we're doing, at least for the most part, in terms of taking profit right here. Okay, so we have a few positions open in our CryptoSomnia community. All right, so if you go to short term, okay, I've stated over and over, I don't know where it is, but see right there. Okay, here are the positions that I have opened. All right, again, none of this is investment advice. I just state what I'm doing, so you can follow or not follow. Okay, you can see right here that this is my capital allocation for each trade. I will be more than likely selling as BTC approaches the 8180 to 8260 resistance zone. You now see why I'm doing that. You see it right here in this chart, right? A couple of resistance points right here, and you see it right here, okay? It's always wise to sell at resistance because you don't know if it's going to break through, okay? You have no idea, you don't have any certainty that it's going to do something. So if it's not going to do that, it's better to lean on your probabilities that this level is going to hold as resistance and potentially push prices down again. Okay, but that doesn't mean I'm going to just sell off everything as soon as prices come to it. I'm going to look at the chart very carefully and see, are we sort of trending up? Are we moving sideways near resistance? And then hopefully eventually trying to break it, because sometimes that does happen, where I've stated that when you sort of hit resistance like this, see multiple times like that, and then you also move sideways near resistance like these candles did, and then it broke through, this is no surprise. This is weakening the supply each time the level is hit, okay? Same thing that happens with support, as I've explained, right? If this is support right here, price comes down to this level, bounces up, and then comes back down again, bounces up, and then comes back down again, and now it's just trending sideways near the support. Eventually this is just going to break, okay? Same thing with the resistance. This is going to break if price moves sideways or it hits it multiple times, and I will be watching that very carefully based on my trades right now, okay? So with that being said, now you have some levels to watch. If you want to consider buying into some of the trades that I just told you about, these might be the levels that you want to get into, okay? You're actually getting into some good levels at present prices. Again, not investment advice. You can do it or not do it. I don't really care. I'm already in my positions, and I will be probably doubling down soon if I start seeing the break of this 8,050 area again, okay? Let me see if there's any questions so far. What's the name? Oh yeah, Guppy. Thanks, Janati. I appreciate that. Native American, looking to buy 1 Bitcoin. Should I step into the market as I'm going to hold long term, or still waiting for a pullback, or is this foolish? No, I don't think it's foolish to wait for a pullback. I think a lot of people are sort of screaming, that BTC is going to go to 2,000 or 3,000 right away. If it does happen, it'll take, a decent amount of time. But listen, when we start scaling back and looking at Bitcoin on the larger time frames, here's the weekly chart, guys. I mean, for the most part, this weekly is trending up. No one can deny that this is a pretty, solid bull run, okay? The fact of the matter is that the last, full weekly that closed, and this one currently that we will be closing in the next about 36 or 48 hours. If it closes as is, it's not going to be the most positively bullish sign, but it's also not going to be, heavily bearish. Okay, it's somewhere in the middle. All right. So the point is that when the weekly closes like this, you may just want to either wait for more downside or start seeing, potentially a reversal candle, like, I don't know, like a doji or something like this doji printed here at the bottom, or this sort of, hammer-like candle right here printed at the bottom on the weekly. Okay. Or even you might even see it on the daily. Okay. But for the most part, I would say, buying at current prices, there's nothing wrong with it. And you can even, scale in as prices dip lower and lower. Okay. The people who are calling for, 4,000 or 3,000 right away are pretty crazy. I do think it's eventually going to happen, but I don't think that, this Elliott wave count has finished, in my opinion, just yet. Right. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4 if you were thinking about it, and 5. That's one way to count it, right? That could be the final wave count, and then we might be correcting sort of like this. Okay, A might be right there, B might be right there, and then C might be a little bit deeper around the mid 6,000s. Okay, that's one way to do it, right? Another way to do it is, if this is the third wave, the fourth wave might be finishing off in the next week or two. And then the fifth wave is your big blow off top right around this 12,000 area. And then you might get a deep corrective wave count where A stretches down like this, B stretches down over here, and then C just goes in deep for that mid 6 correction. Okay, so that would imply from 12,000 that might be like a 50% drop in BTC prices, and that would really shake up the market, having everyone scream that Bitcoin is going to die. Okay, so this is one way you can actually do the Elliott wave count too, and I personally believe that this is the third wave, because if you start putting up volume, oftentimes the third wave is actually supposed to contain the most solid amount of volume, and clearly this one does right here. A fourth wave is just beginning a quick and small correction, and then the fifth wave, and at least in commodities, is supposed to be the largest and strongest wave. So this could also be the blow off top where it could take you to 10,000, 12,000, maybe even like 15 or something, right? Something just ridiculous. I'm not saying that I'm just making up a number, but blow off tops are supposed to look ridiculous. Okay, they're not just you don't top off at the third wave at 9,000 only to hit the fifth wave at 10,000. Okay. Again, that's indeed if this is the top of the third wave and the fifth wave is up here. Okay. As far as I can see, honestly, the fifth wave should be coming about in the next couple of weeks if this is just the top of the third wave. Okay. And if the fourth wave is not that deep of a correction, the fifth wave is definitely going to be massive, because just like, I've mentioned the title of this video is when bulls are looking to buy the dip, they don't want prices to go in too deep. All right. Oftentimes you will see just a 23 or 30% fib retrace, and then that will just skyrocket the next move. So if we start looking at the fib levels, right? So let me map that out for you. Okay. So remember that this is the bottom of the second. If this is the top of the third, let's see where the retrace comes out to. Okay, so here are the retrace levels, right? So this is the bottom of the second. If this is the top of the third, the first point of retrace to 23.6 fib has already been hit. The 38.2 fib currently lies around the 7,000 region right here, right at 7,000 essentially. Okay, that's if we fall straight down on the next weekly candle. Okay, that would also imply that we will have then used this big trend line right here. Okay, this trend line that has been coming up since almost 2012 or so. You can see over here it was resistance back here, resistance, and then multiple points of support, 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 and now it's being broken through to the upside, and now it may come down to test this as support again, right? So it'll move up like this, come down, move sideways, trail up, and then sort of explode again, okay? So that might be one way to look at it too. But the point is that, you know, if the third wave top is right here, guys, the fifth wave is going to be very explosive, and it's going to surprise a lot of people, put everyone, you know, all the bears on their heels, because they're going to be so deep underwater on their short positions that short covering will ultimately add fuel to the fire by driving up prices, you know, to almost ridiculous highs. And then you'll see the crazy, you know, CNBC and Bloomberg mantras calling for Bitcoin going to 100,000 or something, like whenever Tom Lee did that last year or 2 years ago. Something ridiculous, right? Oftentimes, the ridiculousness of Bitcoin is the peak time to sell anyway, okay? When you see, you know, your barber or your Uber driver telling you to buy Bitcoin, you know, I think that's the time you want to get out, right? Because those people are probably the ones to save the smart money and commercial buyers and bail them out, because the retailers will typically buy in at higher prices when things are booming, right? So just something to keep in mind. Let me sort of run through more of this analysis and see what else we got here. Let's see. I wanted to show you guys, where's that chart that I just had? Okay, so aside from the 6 hour chart that we had, the $8,200 level we're aiming for, here are the daily levels we're still, you know, sort of looking at, right? I personally think that this was a very positive sign that Bitcoin put in. If we start looking on the 4 hour time frame, like this is essentially a double bottom, guys, okay? One touch right there, price bounces up, bounces down again, and boom. That's a double bottom, okay? Double bottom, W bottom, whatever you want to call it. That's a double bottom, right? Double bottoms are, you know, have great significance in reversals, all right? So if this is truly a reversal, it first needs to get to this $8,200 area and break right through it, okay? Technically, the W reversal has done its job by pushing prices over this resistance right here. But now, if you look at the reverse fib from, say, you know, this top right here to this bottom, all right, we need to also clear this 8,200 resistance, because the 618 on the reverse, right, on the upside, is right around that same area. And oftentimes, when you clear the 618 fib from this big drop like this on the way up, this is a strong indication that prices are now becoming extremely bullish, okay? Now it's even, you know, tougher to question the validity of this move. But as you can see, we're struggling to even get over the 50 fib, okay? But once we get over it, the 8,200, 8,250 level will be next, all right? So once that's broken, I personally think that, you know, 8,700, 9,000 and beyond is definitely possible. But one thing at a time, right? We're not there yet. Let's wait patiently and see what prices show us, okay? So again, here are the levels to look for. If you do buy in now, your stop will probably have to be lower than these wicks, okay? Because there's a chance that, you know, this candle can get bearish, but then it could pick up steam, create another higher low, and then move up like this. Almost certainly, when you do buy at levels like this, you have to be able to put your stop right beneath the previous lows, okay? Even if it's the lows of the wicks, you have to put your stop right there, guys. And that's currently around, you know, $7,400 or so, okay? At least on BitMEX prices it is. So you have a couple opportunities, okay? Another opportunity is if price gets up to this 8,200 resistance and it faces, you know, resistance like it's getting rejected, you can just short this area right here, okay? Short this area, because more than likely it'll at the very least come down to 8,000 or even go back to 7,600. And if it comes to 7,600 again, and taps that support another time, then I think, you know, it'll probably go down to 7,200s or so, okay? But all these are scenarios to watch out for. For now, all we're really doing is just moving sideways near resistance of the 8,000 level, which in my opinion, as I've stated before, actually it's not an opinion, it's a fact, that when prices do hover near resistance levels, oftentimes statistically they have a higher probability of breaking this resistance level, okay? So I wouldn't be surprised if prices break this 8,020 marker right here over the next couple hours, okay? I did do this Wyckoff schematic. Again, I did this on May 26th when prices were over here, as you can see. This was, again, something to keep track of. As I stated right here, if prices get up to that $8,200, $8,300 level and they become, you know, that area becomes resistance, this big Wyckoff distribution schematic might be at play. Because then once you hit this level and you catch it as resistance, this is the LPSY, which is the last point of supply. You can read about it right there, okay? Everything I've documented in this post on TradingView, how exactly Wyckoff distribution works, why it works, you know, what exactly we're seeing, etc. It's all in this post if you want to learn. And I think, you know, that's another thing, guys, that we do heavily in this community is teach you exactly why we're entering certain areas, where we're trying to get out, why we're trying to get out there, you know, the P&L we're aiming for, what kind of structure we're seeing, like a bull flag, or if you need to wait for confirmation. I state multiple updates through the day, as you can see right here, you know, and tons of Bitcoin analysis updates too, okay? So if you don't even want to join our community, at least be particular about the other communities that you're a part of and ask yourself, like, do other communities work as hard as we do, and do they provide as much content, you know, every single day for the free members, the Advantage members, which are our paying members, and do they have this kind of, you know, obsessive personality with wanting to do as much as they can for their members because they know that their members are carefully listening and learning, right? So we just have a very sort of inclusive community where we talk openly about everything and discuss and share ideas of technicals or knowledge, what to look for, what we're missing, what, you know, what we may be overlooking, and tons of educational material right here too, okay? I know I have to shill my community quite a bit, but hey guys, this is how bills get paid, right? Okay, so anyway, point is, we're essentially floating sideways near resistance. This might, you know, get broken in the next couple of hours. If it does, look out for the $8,200, $8,300 level, and you can either short there or wait for a confirmation of the break, and then you can take another long trade from 8,200 to 9,000. Okay, something to consider, right? Let's look at some trades. Let's check out the XRP Bitcoin chart. All right, so here's the XRP Bitcoin chart. As I've stated, you know, earlier, that resistance once tapped like this and it keeps hitting over and over, this area is probably going to break. Okay, more than likely it's going to happen because XRP has hit this $5,400 or 5,400 Satoshi level multiple times. Okay, and the next level to watch out for is probably anywhere between 5,800 to 6,000. Okay, so this is something to keep in mind, guys, that XRP is looking fairly bullish. Okay, especially when you draw this trend line like this. All right, this is essentially your ascending triangle. Okay, but remember that ascending triangles, for the most part, if they start at the bottom of a trend like this, the trend is going down, obviously, these have a higher propensity to break down. Okay, they're continuation patterns more often than they are bullish patterns. Okay, when prices reach up into the pattern from the bottom, these patterns have a higher probability to break up. So keep that in mind. So that's why I'm saying that, you know, it's 50-50 really. It keeps hitting at this level, but then again, it is creating this ascending triangle. I would probably say that, you know, there's a 65% chance that this breaks to the upside. but don't forget that the 35% chance still leads to more downside. So don't go all in with your money right here, okay? Never go all in with your money anywhere, okay? What's another chart that I had to look at? LTC, BTC. Let's see how that one is. This chart, I'm pretty sure it looks fantastic. So here's something that one of our members mentioned. This is a pretty beautiful cup and handle right here. Okay, so here's the cup right here, like this, and here's that handle. Technically, the cup start is right there actually. So this is the start of the cup. Remember, when it comes to cup and handles, guys, your lid of the cup must touch both sides. So you can see price touches right there and it touches right there, right? And then the handle, it cannot be deeper than 50 or 618% oftentimes, okay? So you can see that it bounced off perfectly off that 618 fib, right? Off the bottom of this cup, okay? So this is a beautiful move. And LTC is clearly looking stronger because LTC also has the halving that's coming up in about, I think August 9th, okay? I've marked this right here and I've got my eye on LTC. I'm actually trading LTC right now as we speak in my open positions in my community. Why? Because halvings are oftentimes some of the biggest events that you see that drive price action to much higher highs. So we'll definitely keep this price action in mind right here. I would say that LTC has entered a new parallel channel, something like this maybe. I think it's like that. Okay, so another parallel channel within a larger parallel channel like this. Okay, so very healthy movement by LTC. If you are considering buys, you can buy at the bottom of this channel that's reaching out, as you can see right here. Okay, or you can wait for BTC to give you healthy signs. Okay, oftentimes you have to wait for both assets, which is your altcoin as well as BTC, to give you healthy signals than just one. All right. Let me see what else I got to take care of. Let's check out ZRX. One of our members asked about ZRX. And that's another thing, guys. If you don't know how to chart, there's a big section right here called User Requested TA. And these are the questions that I'm answering right now. You can see someone asked about LTC. I just answered it. Someone asked about XRP. I just answered it. And someone asked about ZRX. So I'm going to answer that right now. Okay. So a lot of different ways we provide service for our community. And it really helps because I know everyone comes into these trading groups trying to understand what to do, what not to do. So, we like to help out by providing technicals on, what we see in price action. Okay. Here's ZRX right now. I don't see anything special on ZRX. Maybe like this sort of ascending trend line like this. Something like that. Maybe wait for the price to come down to this level. But I don't see anything unless the person is talking about ZRX BTC chart. Let's check that one out. Let's see. ZRX BTC looks pretty ugly actually. Yeah, it definitely looks ugly. Okay. So this was one of the critical levels that ZRX was supposed to hold up. It did not. Didn't even blink. It just kind of broke right through. The next biggest level for ZRX is way down here. That's like at least a 50 or so % drop from current prices. Yeah, that's like a 67% drop. Okay. I don't see any support in the way. If price goes back to this level, guys, for ZRX, right, and it hits this area as resistance, it could drop all the way down here. All right, that's a pretty sizable drop. So definitely keep that in mind if you do get into ZRX. I have some ZRX for the long term, but very minimal. Just something I wanted to bag because I do believe in ZRX as a project and some of the backers, the VCs that are backing it. Okay. OMG, let's check out OMG. I would say OMG is looking like trash last I checked it, but let me see. Let me say go. Wow, I don't even see that much history in this chart, but guys, a lot of these charts are going to look like this, okay? This is how they look. You got to stop knife catching here, okay? You're going to get wrecked. If you look at a chart that looks like this, in no way does this signify a buy. All right, I've said this over in our community that the coins that you want to aim for are the ones that have direct fiat on ramps in large exchanges. Okay, if we go to coin metrics right here, all right, you'll see that if you go to community data, network data, and then correlation charts, you need to look at LTC, BCH, and Ethereum. Okay, so let's check out Ether right there, and then let's check out BCH. Okay, I have nothing against other coins. It's just that you want to find high correlation coins with BTC. Okay, this is the correlation of all three of these assets since 2018. Look, anywhere between 0.8 and higher, all the way to 1.0 is a very high correlation. You can see all of these have a very high correlation with BTC. These are the coins that you want to pick. This implies that when BTC moves up, these coins will almost certainly move up with it. Okay, and they actually more often move up at a higher percent. All right, when they move up at a higher percent, that means that you can even gain more Bitcoin if you think about it, right? Because if you sell off in dollars, then you can just buy more Bitcoin. Okay, so this is why I stick to these three and some of the other coins that have direct fiat on ramps. XRP even, that's another one that has a direct fiat on ramp. What else? EOS is on Coinbase that you can buy directly with US dollar. That's another one, right? So these are the coins that you want to stick to. Don't be knife catching down here, guys. You might see a couple of percent move up, but eventually Bitcoin is going to suck out all the gains. Because if you haven't noticed recently, BTC has sort of sucked the life out of most alts. Whether Bitcoin goes up or down, alts are just getting destroyed regardless. Okay, it's really not the wisest thing to be able to trade these small cap altcoins. All right, and I mean that just trading. Okay, if you're trying to long-term invest, you need to do your own fundamentals research. I don't really have time for that. Do your own research, and if you want to buy it for the long term, go do it, but don't think about trading it. Okay, let's take a look at Dent. Yeah, this thing looks also same thing, right? Like, I mean, I guess this is a slightly better chart actually. Let's see, put that line right there. Here's the actually this is like a nice little cup. You might have a handle come down to like, I don't know, 22, 21 level right here and maybe break through. But again, you don't buy into this when the handle is being created to the downside. I mean, you can, but the true confirmation is the break of this area right here, which is the 25 to 26 Satoshi level. So I would say this is a somewhat positive in terms of a chart, because here's what happened, right? This level hit right there as resistance, or I'm sorry, support, bounced up, came back over here again as support, bounced up. Each time this support right here got weaker and eventually just broke down, and now it's using that same area as resistance. So if this is truly supposed to break up, I wouldn't even touch it until it gets to like 27 or 30. Okay, because if it actually does get to those levels, that means that it's going to have far greater upside. But buying now, you're basically buying at resistance. Okay, buying right now is basically buying at resistance, so it would not be wise. All right, let's see. Awesome. All right, well, hey, what's up, Desmond? How you doing, man? I would say that is it. I think that about wraps it up, folks. I gotta get going. I want to enjoy my Saturday morning, and I hope you guys do too. I don't spend too much time on the charts, guys. These markets, it's kind of like a double-edged sword because they're always open, but you also don't want to be spending too much time on them. You also want to be able to spend your life outside of trading and enjoy the money and the gains that you get. And clearly you can see our gains in our community right here. Again, people don't take this as financial advice. You can see that people took some trades at 105, sold it at 118. That's a pretty nice 10% gain or so right there. This one right here, my calls are unbelievably accurate. I don't know about that, but I know I have good calls. 15% today, 2% each time on scalps, and then a nice 12% gain, 17%. You can say, I was only trading with $500, but it almost paid for 1 month's subscription, okay? So you can see that we have a ton of reviews you can read on your own. Come join the channel. The Discord link is in the description. If you have any questions, you can come here in our Discord community and you can ask them in community discussion. But again, a majority of my time goes to these channels with the locks, okay? These locked channels right here that you see are all for Advantage members, okay? You can see there's a lot more locked channels than there are open channels. That's because we just provide a ton of information, a ton of content for our Advantage members. If you don't believe me, ask anyone in this YouTube chat or join the community, okay? Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. Please give me a thumbs up, guys. Write a comment of what you think of my calls or my information. Would love some feedback. And again, give us a thumbs up. Join our Facebook. Like us on Twitter. Do something that helps pay it forward. Okay, if you're watching these videos for free, I really don't mind. I love doing daily content, but pay it forward in some way. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. Take care. Have a wonderful weekend. Go spend some time with your family and friends and stop staring at the charts all day. All right. Cheers.